Praise the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And peace to everybody that's here in the name of Jesus. Peace to everybody tuned in on the internet. I guess we're up on the internet and on the phone line. And we're glad to be here to keep another one of the Lord's Sabbaths. Both the choirs did a good job. I'm going to say one more time, give them another hand. And today we're going to have a lesson. You know, this is supposed to be Black History Month, even though we really don't get into it. Those of us that know the truth, even people I know, like my teacher and other people, I've done Black History series before, and they doing them, but they don't really care nothing about Black history per se. They just taking advantage of the opportunity to preach the word. Because black history don't mean no more than white history. And we say all the time, it's not a black thing, period. It's not a black thing. And that's what people don't understand when it comes to the people of the Bible. Israel, they were just one group of blacks from among many. It's a whole lot of black people in the world. One group of people was Israel. So it's not even about color. Color has been overrated in the first place because of lack of understanding. But what it is about is that God chose one nation, and they happen to be black. He chose one nation of people to be his priests, to spread his message, and to be a light. That's somebody. I hear myself coming from somebody. To be a light to everybody else. So that's what's important. So instead of it being about something black, it's about nationhood. So, but this might would fall somewhat in the category of a lesson along those lines, because it's a physical lesson, even though it's not about Israel. It is about Israel's twin brother, which we know as Esau. Because this is a great mystery to the world, and a lot of people rightly ask the question when we tell them that, you know, we Israel is a black people that's been under curse by God, a divine sentence by God. When we tell them that, the first thing that come out of their mouth was, who are those people that say they Jews? That's the first thing. And that's a valid question, because if you're saying, well, no, everything is out of order, they not the real Jews. Well, the question is, well, who are they? And we know who they are because the Bible don't leave no stone unturned. And something of this magnitude, God would not have left us in the dark. If Israel, like we know, is scattered in slavery all over the world for disobedience, and somebody else is saying they are Israeli or the Jew, then God got to have some scripture on that. And everything go back to the scripture. So we're going to start it off in Jeremiah 49. Because right now, the true Israelites or chosen people are hidden under being lost under the names of Negro, Afro-American, or whatever country that they in, under what the Bible called bywords. So they are hidden in that regard. Even so hidden so good, they hidden from themselves. Because you got a lot of Israel over in this country that don't know they Israel, don't have a clue. So they hidden, but by the same token, the one that's saying he is a Jew is hiding as well. He's hiding because he's really somebody else, and nobody ever asked the question about him. It's like we're going to read a little history. We're going to read a little history. I know some people have come to realize, they say, well, they not the Jews. You know, they not even from that part of the area. You know, they from Europe and so and so. But actually, the majority of them, they from that part of the area, even though they not the Jews. But when they give you these analysis, they still never come up with showing us, well, who is Esau and where is Esau at? And the Lord Esau is so prominent, which became the nation of Edomites. He is so prominent in the Bible that God is talking about him down to the end of the world. And he is prominent, he is important, he's a main player down to the end of the world. So my question always is, where is he? If God is talking about him being prominent to the end of the world, he has to be somewhere. But if you don't have spiritual eyes, you won't see him because he's hiding himself. How's he hiding himself? He's saying he is a Jew. And I'm just going to say this. It's a difference between the Jew, the so-called Jew, and Gentiles. Because some brothers can kind of lump them all together. But nah, it's a difference between them. Gentiles started in Genesis, the 10th chapter, from Noah's son Japhet. That's where all the Gentile nations come from Noah's son Japhet. All of them come from there. Regardless, people talk about the color. Again, color is no big deal. So somewhere along the line, God had to make all us different colors to get all these different nationalities and colors and shades and languages somewhere along the line. He don't say particularly in Genesis 10, because some people ask, they say, well, so that means Japhet was white. I don't know. I wasn't there. He might have been black. It didn't make no distinction at the time. Didn't make no distinction from Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japhet. Didn't make no distinction. But we know the descendants of Japhet are the ones that end up coming from Europe being white. We know that. We know the descendants of Ham are what we call Africans, and we know the descendants of Shem are kind of mixed up from different shades. Just like you got the Arabs that come from Shem, you can't really categorize them as straight black or white. Same thing with Esau. Esau come from Shem. Same thing with us. We come from Shem, and we happen to be black. But now we're going to get into it. That's the title, Esau. Edom, the so-called Jew uncovered. Because that's what we're going to do. The Lord is doing it in the Bible. And he's going to uncover them all the way. But those that got spiritual eyes, you can see them right now. But he is in a hiding place, so you have to pull the cover off of him. And again, it's not, we just pointed out because it's the book. It don't have nothing to do with, I could care less personally, not mad or upset at Esau, because I know the Lord is going to deal with Esau. I know what wrong he done, and I know the Lord is going to deal with. So personally, that's why I ain't got to be on the corner screaming and trying to curse nobody out like some of my Hebrew brothers. Because I know whatever the Lord allowed Esau to do, it happened because we disobeyed in the first place. So, because a lot of times when you point stuff like this out, I have to say that people kind of try to use reverse racism on you. Oh, that's kind of right. Look, we just dealing with some facts. It's just like when you point out that Jesus was black. He had to be some color. Oh, well, color don't matter. Well, he had to be some color still. They say, oh, that's racist. No, it's the facts. It's just a fact that he was black. Jeremiah 49, and we're going to read one verse. Jeremiah 49 and one verse, verse 10. Go ahead.
But I have made Esau bare.
Uh-huh.
I have uncovered his secret places.
Go ahead.
And he shall not be able to hide himself.
Uh-huh.
His seed is spoiled.
Uh-huh.
And his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
See, the Lord talking about Esau throughout the Bible. So right here, through Jeremiah, he said, I have made Esau. See, once this guy was born, he was going to last all the way down to the end and it became a mighty nation. So the Lord's not talking about the individual Esau. We're going to go back to when the individual was born, but remember the Lord made nations out of individuals back in the day. That's how we got all these nations right now. He said, I have made Esau bare. I made him bare. I have uncovered his secret places. That means he's hiding somewhere in a secret place, right? And he shall not be able to hide himself. The Lord said, when I get through with you, you ain't going to be able to hide yourself. See, he hiding from the majority of people now. Because the majority of people assume this guy is a Jew. They not the wiser. And they think we crazy if we say, no, we the original Jews, we the real Jews. They think we crazy. Because he has been saying it so long, people just start believing it. And he know a little bit, very little, of the teaching of Israel, so he can kind of palm himself off as being what he's not. But the Lord called it. He said, I've uncovered his secret places. He shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. The Lord going to deal with him openly in the end. And I do mean in the end. See, that's why I know who he is. Because if the Lord talking about dealing with at the end, he got to be prominent right now. But he hiding himself. See, it's still prominent people. The people that started this thing with God, when God made a promise to Abraham, you got prominent people came out of Abraham, and they still prominent to this day. Who was Abraham's first son? Ishmael. That's where our brothers, the Arabs, come. The Lord said in the Bible he was going to be a great nation, and the Arabs are great to this day. Even if it's for a bad reason, they in the news in many cases. They great to this day. Then his next son, Isaac, who produced two sons, Esau and Jacob, they prominent to this day. Isaac, first son, which we're going to read. Let's go back and get to it. Genesis 25. His first son, Esau, is prominent to this day. His second son, Jacob, is prominent to this day. You know, we in the news a whole lot for the wrong reason. Genesis 25 and verse 19. Genesis 25 and 19. This is when Esau was born. And again, see, the Lord dealt with everybody in association with Jacob once he got started. So Esau was born right with Jacob. 25 and 19. Go ahead.
And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Okay, so now, Abraham had Isaac. Isaac had married Rebekah. She couldn't have no children at first, so they prayed to the Lord. He sought the Lord, which is what you should do instead of going through a whole lot of other changes. He sought the Lord. And then she got pregnant. And it said 21, he entreated the Lord because his wife was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. 22 says the children, because it was more than one, struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she inquired of the Lord. 23. Now here's the answer. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Okay, so now, and this is not the first time. See, this show you back in these days, the Lord, that's where the Lord started making all these nations, all these shades of colors, etc. back here. But it went on generations before Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It went on because he tell you a breakdown in Genesis 10 after the flood, how he made multi-nations and was steadily making nations. You read Genesis 10, he was making nations, one son to be a nation, and then he had sons and they will be nations. It's just like he made, Ham had Mizraim, which is what we know as the original Egyptians. Ham had Mizraim. So that's where the Egyptians come from, Mizraim. Mizraim had a son called Philistine, and that's where the Philistines come from him. So he was steadily producing nations all the way down here. He said point blank, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the elder is going to serve the younger. So whoever the elder is, it's going to be out of the norm. He's going to end up serving instead of being the boss. He's going to serve the younger. Go ahead, 24.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. Okay, the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. It tell you how he looked, because evidently he looked out of the norm from what was norm in their family. Because we know that Israel is black, that Jacob was black, and the Israelites are black, and Abraham, all of them had to be black. So it distinguished him, but this is nothing new. I mean, you can have people can have twins right now, and they can look black and white. They can look different colors. So
don't think of this as being incredible. So he looked different. That's why I describe him. It say the first came out all over, it came out red, all over like a hairy garment. Now again, this is Abraham's grandson. Abraham come from Shem. So he's in no form or fashion a Gentile. Gentiles come from a whole nother direction. And even though he might be more complexion closer to Gentiles, actually he is closer to us physically. It's just like we are closer to him than we are to other black people that come from Ham, because they come from a whole nother source. So just because somebody, that's why I say it's not a black thing at all. Color really is insignificant. The only reason why color becomes significant nowadays is because people done lied and made like it's something that is not. They done made like, Israel is not black and Jesus wasn't black. So you just have to point that out. That's the only way it's significant. Other than that, it's no big deal. I don't care what color you is, you got to go to the washroom. I don't care if you a black president or a white president, they still sit in that same toilet that they got in the White House. So it don't matter. But we have to point it out because things have been twisted for so long. So he came out red all over like a hairy garment. So that lets you know his complexion was different from the norm, and he was hairy. And they what?
And they called his name Esau.
So here's Esau. But now we was reading about Esau in Jeremiah 49. But we wasn't reading about the individual. We was reading about his descendants because he became a great nation. That's who he was reading about. And the Lord talked about uncovering him, finding his hiding place and making him bare. He won't be able to hide himself anymore in his secret place. The Lord was talking about him. So we're going to follow him down because this is great significance to Israel because of what he's been doing. Again, people say, well, oh, brother, I had some Edomites contact me, and they said, brother, you can be a part of us. I said, no, you could be a part of us. You trying to put us out like look, I know who you are, but still, you can humble yourself and be a part. See, you got it twisted. You can be a part of us. See, but they don't understand that. But it don't have nothing to do. Matter of fact, the hate has been coming when we look in the Bible. Who hated who? Esau is the one that hated Jacob. But go ahead, what verse?
26.
Uh-huh.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Now Isaac was 60 when she had these twins, Esau and Jacob. Jacob was the youngest, didn't go into no big explanation of his color because he looked the norm, which they was black. And we got other scriptures to show that. We got scriptures to show how Moses had to look like the black Egyptians because he grew up in Pharaoh's house. And even was called an Egyptian when he ran into the Midianites. So we got scriptures how Joseph was in Egypt, because the original Egyptians, we know they black. They got artifacts of all kind of King Tut and other pharaohs to show. See, the Arabs run Egypt right now. But the original ones are black, and they call them Nubians right now. They over there. So it's just like it's supposed to be. But now, so Jacob was the youngest, and it said the elder is going to serve the younger. So in the final analysis, Esau is going to have to serve Jacob. But now we haven't got to the final analysis. You say, well, why is Jacob on the bottom now? Because in the meantime, that's what the Bible said was going to happen. Esau took advantage of Jacob's problems that we had with the Lord. And we're going to see all of that. He said, but his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. Now go ahead to verse 27.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
And this is more or less the same way it is today, but go ahead.
28. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison.
Now Isaac loved, these are their children. So Isaac, it wasn't like he didn't love Jacob. But again, a lot of times parents can be partial toward one than the other. So he was more partial toward Esau. Esau went hunting, brought the old man food back. So that was his boy. Plus, he was the firstborn. And he assumed the firstborn was the one going to inherit things, even though he wasn't the firstborn from Abraham, and he inherited the blessing. So he assumed that. So he did love Esau. He ate of his venison, but what?
But Rebekah loved Jacob.
So Rebekah, she was more partial toward Jacob. But she knew what the deal was. Go ahead, 29.
And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
See, that's his other name. That's the name that he inherited. That was the name of the land that he had. And we're going to get to all of that. But again, it started off from twin babies. And the Bible already told us they're going to be great nations. But these nations are prominent to this day. So it said he came home and he was hungry and he was faint. So his name was called Edom. Go ahead, 31.
And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
See, now, Edom again, that means red. And he didn't have a good day hunting, so he wanted some of the food that Jacob had. So Jacob going to get something for it. But now, so he said, sell me your birthright. See, if you sell your birthright, that means whatever you got coming as being the firstborn, then I'm going to have it. See, and this wasn't worth Esau selling his birthright. Because it wasn't like he with his family. Nobody going to let him die. He just want what he want. He saw this stuff that Jacob had. He wanted it. And Jacob said, well, let's make a deal. You like making deals anyway. Let's make a deal. So he said, look, I'm at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? Well, his family wasn't going to let him sit there and die of starvation. But go ahead, 33.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
See, sometimes we might enter in or do something and you want to blame somebody else. You can't blame nobody else if you entered in and did it. See, he did it of his own free will, and he didn't have to do it. The Bible going to let us know. Because some people act like Jacob was wrong and Jacob kind of swindled him in this. Look, Esau didn't have to do this. So he sold his birthright to get some food from Jacob, some beans, basically. Go ahead.
Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils.
Okay, so he gave him what the deal was. That sealed the deal then. Go ahead.
And he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
See, thus Esau despised his birthright. What do you mean? See, a lot of times the Lord used despise. He don't mean he went around, I hate my birthright. No, you thought so little of it that you sold it for one meal. You thought little. But see, really probably in the back of his mind, he's like, well, I can say I sell it, who would know? I'm still going to claim what I supposed to claim. But the bottom line, the Lord saw that. And the Lord already said the elder going to serve the younger. So this show you that the Lord just worked it out legally, in legal terms. So he sold his birthright, and then, so he thought little of it. Like the Lord told David, when David committed adultery with Bathsheba, he said, you despise my commandments because you chose to do something above them. You can't love both, in other words. So now, keep your finger. We're going to come back to Genesis. Go to Hebrews 12, because again, some people say, well, Jacob, tricked him into getting his birthright. Then he tricked him into taking the blessing, which we're going to read next. We're going to see what the writers of the Bible knew about that situation. See, you can always get more information when you read somewhere else. Hebrews 12 and 14. Hebrews 12 and 14. Okay, go ahead, my brother.
Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord.
Now, that's what we need to do to this day. And again, we servants of God, so we supposed to try to look out for one another and help one another as we can. We should definitely do that. But then even, I try to help somebody. If I can help somebody that's not in the word, I try to help them, because that's what he means. Follow peace with all men. Follow peace with all men, without which no man shall see the Lord. Doing what else?
Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God.
Now, wait a minute right there. Looking diligently. That means to get salvation, brothers, it's a process, and you have to strive, as Jesus said. You have to strive and work to the end. You don't go to church one Sunday, which is not even the Sabbath day, and presto, get saved. It's a process that you have to work out to the end. That's why Paul said in Philippians, work out your own salvation. See, people got it mixed up when they say, oh, I'm saved by grace, I don't have to do nothing. See, that sounds cut and dry. I got grace and I don't have to do nothing. You talking about works, I don't have to do nothing. Look, he letting you know, looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God. That means grace ain't going to keep you. You got to keep it. You can fail in grace. You can flunk out in grace. They didn't tell us that in church, did they? They talk about grace, grace, grace. Yeah, what about this grace? Fail of the grace of God. Go ahead.
Lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
That's right. Now he going to give you an example, what we've been reading about. Go ahead.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
Oh, wait a minute. They knew about Esau here. Even in the New Testament, they mentioned Esau, right? Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. Go ahead.
Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
See, for one morsel of meat, he sold his birthright. So he didn't think much of it, and he gave it up for nothing. See, and that's how you can do. You can even give up salvation for next to nothing. That's why, but it ain't nothing worth that. Jesus said, what profit if you gain the whole world? But most people not in line to get much in this world, and they be ready to trade it for salvation. But that's kind of along the lines of Esau. For one morsel of meat, he sold his birthright. Now, 17.
For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected.
See, he was rejected. See, he would have got the blessing, but he wasn't going to get it from the beginning because the Lord called it from the beginning because he knew how they both were going to be. He called it from the beginning. But all things being in line, if he would have been like he was supposed to be, he would have got it because he had it coming. He was the firstborn. So when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. Go ahead.
For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears.
Oh, he didn't find no place to repent, even though he cried like a baby. But he cried because it didn't go like he wanted it to go, not because he was sorry and did wrong. Now, go back to Genesis. Genesis 27. Genesis 27. See, sometimes you could seem like you're remorseful, but you just mad you got caught. That's a difference. See, Peter was remorseful. Peter, it had to happen, but Peter went out there and he acted like he didn't even know Jesus for a brief moment. He was like, who is that? I don't know that cat. He started cursing everything to make a point. I don't know that so-and-so song. What you talking about? No, I don't know him. But when he got done, he felt so bad that he had messed up. That's what, even if you do make a mistake while you serving God, you should feel that bad and never want to do it again. So that's what Peter went and cried. He had a good cry, but his sorrow, he had what the Bible called godly sorrow. See, that's the difference. See, Esau had some sorrow, but he had worldly sorrow. That's what Judas had. Judas had worldly sorrow. Judas went out and he was upset that things didn't go like he thought they was going to go. And he repented, but he had worldly sorrow. That's why he went and committed suicide. But now, Genesis 27:1. Look at it. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. And he said, behold now, I am old, I know not the day of my death.
Go ahead.
Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, and make me savory meat, such as I love.
Go ahead.
And bring it to me.
Go ahead.
That I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
See, now, again, Isaac was partial toward Esau, and obviously he didn't know nothing about Esau selling his birthright, so he wants to try to finally give the blessings to his sons. He's going to give Esau the main blessing. So he told Esau, go hunt and get some food. But when the Lord got a plan, it's always going to be a way to make the Lord's plan come out. Because the Lord already said the elder was going to serve the younger. Esau already sold his birthright. So technically, If he was going to be honest, brothers and sisters, when at verse 1, when it said Isaac was old, his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called his eldest son and said unto him, my son, he said, behold, here am I. And when he found out he getting ready to bless him, because he the eldest, he should have came clean if he was going to be right and said, well, actually, let me go get Jacob. You deal with him first because he is, I sold my birthright a long time ago or whatever. If he was going to be right, that's what he would have did because he didn't have the right to being the eldest no more. But now he going to be slick. But the Lord got something for slick folks. Go ahead, verse 4. 5.
And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it.
See, so Esau went hunting to go get it, but it told us Rebekah heard. Now, to save a little time, you read the rest on your own. We're going to skip to verse 15 because we got a whole lot of verses and stuff to read. So we're going to skip to verse 15 because Esau went hunting, and Rebekah called Jacob because she know he's supposed to get this blessing. So she said, look, you going to go in there and play like you Esau. Jacob didn't even want to do it. That's what people get mad. Oh, see, Jacob was bogus, so-and-so, so-and-so. Jacob didn't even want to do it. His mother basically twisted his arm and said, boy, you go in there and do what I told you to do. So she got some food, told him to go to the barn. I'm going to hook it up just like your father like it. You going to go in there and get the blessing you supposed to get. And that's what went down. Verse 15, go ahead.
And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son.
So she going to send them in there, so she put Esau clothes on him. Because remember, Isaac can't see. Isaac, the Lord hadn't showed him what he needed to do in this case, so he was going to deal with Esau. But he couldn't see, so she put Esau clothes on Jacob. What else?
And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck.
See, because it said, we'd have read a little bit, we skipped, it said also Jacob was a smooth man. See, that's the way to identify Israel and Esau again. Esau was red and hairy. We know Jacob was black, and he was smoother or less hairier than Esau. So that's why she had to make him appear hairy. So what did she do? She put some of the goat skins, the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. So she had the bases covered because she knew that Isaac was going to wonder, whether or not this was Esau or not. Go ahead.
And she gave the savory meat and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob.
See, because it had to come with a meal, so she went and made the meal right quick. While Esau going to try to hunt for it, hey, it's right there. She made it right quick. Gave it to Jacob, dressed him up, and everything. Go ahead.
And he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, here am I. Who art thou, my son?
See, now he know he didn't send Esau out to hunt, and all of a sudden he hear this guy come. He waiting on Esau, but he recognized the voice. He said, this ain't Esau's voice, but I'm waiting on Esau. Go ahead.
And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee. Sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me.
See, now you see what Jacob said? That was real. That was straight up a lie. He said, look, I am Esau, thy firstborn. But in a sense, it wasn't a lie. Because he was in the place of Esau. Esau had sold him his birthright. So sometimes you could be in a situation, you got to do something that might not seem or might not tell the whole story the way it is just to get what you got coming. You ain't trying to get over. You're just trying to get what you got coming. That's what situation Jacob was in. But you want to be technical? That is a lie. But see, it's something that God winked at because God wanted it to happen this way, and God know we dealing among men. That's why I tell people all the time, sometimes people and stuff didn't happen. Look, you ain't got to tell everybody everything because it's like sometimes people ain't going to understand. Just like when the Lord got through with Saul, he was done with Saul. He said, I'm through with Saul. He done messed up. He done crossed the line. Now, he told Samuel, kept praying for Saul anyway. And he told Samuel, he said, look, quit praying for Saul I'm done with him. Go down there and anoint me another king from one of Jesse's sons. You know the first thing Samuel said? He like, Lord, you tripping now. Saul is crazy. You know he crazy. If I go down there and anoint another king, Saul gonna kill me. And the Lord didn't say, just believe me and trust and do what I say. No, the Lord knew he was right. So the Lord know how to work things out among men. He know you in situations. So he told Samuel, basically he got like, I got to put you up on game. Samuel, let me put you up on game. Don't go down there and tell everybody what you about to do. Go down there like you doing something else. That's what he told me. He said, look, this is how you do it, Samuel. You go down there and say you're having a sacrifice. Don't go tell all your business. Then when you get down there, you call Jesse to the sacrifice. And then we can handle the business. Saul won't know what you're doing. So that's how the Lord showed you got to operate with some wisdom. That's why the Bible said be like he said innocent as a dove, but he said not shrewd, but something like that as a serpent. Mm-hmm. You got to be wise as a serpent, exactly. But you ain't trying to get over. You're not trying to steal nothing from somebody or nothing. You're just trying to get what you're supposed to get. But now, so that's what Jacob did. He went in there and said, point blank, I am Esau, thy firstborn. Verse 20.
And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son?
He said, now that's the first thing come out of his mind. He's like, ain't no way. That's quick. You went hunting quick today. How did you find it so quickly, my son? Notice this is what we say when we want to get around a question. What?
And he said, because the Lord thy God brought it to me.
See, we put it on the Lord. You know, the Lord did it. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not.
See, he's suspect because he couldn't. His mother couldn't change the voice. She couldn't do nothing with the voice. She ain't had none of that technology. So he in that sounding just like Jacob. So he already suspect. This show you this was definitely God's will because Isaac had to just put it all out his mind and say, okay, well, I guess it's okay and do it. And by the time he did it, that's as soon as Esau going to get back. Even if he would have stalled a little longer, Esau would have been back, the gig would have been up. But that shows you the Lord wanted it to happen this way because everything fell in place, even though he said, that don't sound like Esau. He said, come near, my son, whether you be my very son Esau or not. 22, go ahead.
And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice.
See, he said point blank. Go ahead.
But the hands are the hands of Esau.
See, because she put that the ghost hand skin on him. So she said, but the hands, so that kind of outweighed it. He said, well, maybe he got a cold. I don't know. Something going on. Go ahead.
And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy.
See, because Esau was red and hairy. Well, Isaac can't see, but he feels some hair on Jacob. Go ahead.
As his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him.
Go ahead.
And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am.
Again. He said, I'm in here now. I got to go with the flow. Yep, right. I'm him. Go ahead.
And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison.
Go ahead.
That my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank.
Go ahead.
And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son.
See, he's going to check him one more time. He said, I still feel like something ain't right here. But he ate everything. Now it's time for the blessing. But right before the blessing, he said, come near and give me a kiss. He really don't want no kiss. He want to smell him now. He said, let me check him out one time. Go ahead.
And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field, which the Lord hath blessed.
You know why he smelled like he needed to smell? Because, again, his mother put some of Esau's clothes on him. So she had Esau clothes on. So he had all Esau stuff to make him appear as Esau. So Isaac just went with it. He said, see, the smell of my sons as the smell of a field, which the Lord hath blessed. Now he going to bless them, which is the way God wanted it. Go ahead.
Therefore, God give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine.
Go ahead.
Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee.
Go ahead.
Cursed be everyone that curses thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee.
See, now he gave him the full-fledged blessing. Same blessing that he gave to Abraham. God gave to Abraham. Abraham gave it to Isaac. Isaac is now giving it to Jacob unbeknownst to himself. Let's show you, Lord's will going to be done no matter what. Lord going to make sure, because the Lord wasn't blessing Esau. That's why even in Hebrews, we found out Esau, it said, is there be any profane person as, or fornicator as Esau? Esau wasn't right. He did things contrary to what even his mother and father wanted him to do. They said, don't marry none of the daughters of Canaan. That's the first thing he went and did. He married the daughters of Canaan. So now, it said, he said, verse 29, let people serve thee, nations bow down to thee. See, this is how it is with Jacob. So in the end, this is how it's going to be. Even though it's not right now. Be Lord over thy brethren, let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curses thee, and blessed be he that blesses thee. Verse 30.
And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father.
The timing was perfect. Go ahead.
That Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
I guess it's how you look at it, not for Esau. Go ahead.
And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison.
Go ahead.
That thy soul may bless me.
Go ahead.
And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau.
See? And he knew it all along. I know Isaac said, wow, I knew something was wrong. But Isaac knew something else. He knew it was a wrap already, because the Lord had gave that blessing to Jacob already. It was a done deal. See, this shook Isaac. He did not know, actually, that he had blessed Jacob. 33.
And Isaac trembled very exceedingly.
Now, he trembled very exceedingly and said, what?
And said, who?
Who are you? Go ahead.
Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him.
And oh, by the way, go ahead.
Yea, and he shall be blessed.
Hey, and he gonna be blessed. It's a wrap. It is over with. See, the Lord fixed it, though. He couldn't take it back and switch it or do nothing. Go ahead, 34.
And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father.
See, he cried. That's what Hebrews told you. He said he started crying, but hey, he didn't recognize his own fault. You know, he didn't recognize that he had brought this on himself and just lived with it. No, he mad at Jacob. Go ahead.
And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and hath taken away thy blessing.
See, even that's the way Isaac looking at it. He came with subtlety, but hey, he had to figure out, hey, the Lord wanted it this way because it wouldn't have happened. Go ahead.
And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob?
Go ahead.
For he has supplemented me these 2 times.
See, that's what Esau blaming Jacob. He supplanted me these 2 times. What?
He took away my birthright.
No, you sold it. Go ahead.
And behold, now he hath taken away my blessing.
Because it wasn't yours. Go ahead.
And he said, hast thou now reserved a blessing for me?
Go ahead.
And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him.
Go ahead.
And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
See, he said, I done gave it all to him. Go ahead.
And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
See, he cried. But go ahead.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
See, he probably realized maybe what I was thought he was going to bless Jacob with, maybe that's what Esau supposed to get. So anyway, he did come up with a blessing, and this is Esau's blessing to this day. What did he say? He answered and said, behold, your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So how can we identify Esau? He going to be on top of things in this world. That's what the fatness of the earth stands for. He going to live good in this world. And he living good right now, even though Jacob living bad, which is the way we supposed to be living since we fell under the curse for disobedience. we living bad. Where's Esau at? Still living good on the fatness of the earth. See, this is how you can identify that he not the Jew, because it came a time where the Jew was supposed to be on the bottom, not on the fatness of the earth, not running everything. He says, well, it shall be the fatness of the earth. And what else?
And of the dew of heaven from above.
And on top of things, go ahead.
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And he going to live by his sword. It's just like right now, that's how they stand over there in the promised land. The ones that's over there, they are living by their sword. And they putting, and they putting, even though they got all those Arabs, got much more Arabs in the vicinity ready to fight against them, hey, they've been dealing with all of them. Small group of them been dealing with all of them because they living by the sword. And matter of fact, if the Gentiles don't keep Esau in check, Esau would destroy all them Arabs. He just chumping to do it. But the Gentiles keep him in check and won't let him do what he want to do. It's just like the Edomites right now. Esau want to bomb Iran. Gentiles like, chill out. Because the Gentiles run it overall. So now, he said, by your sword shalt thou live. Go ahead.
And shall serve thy brother.
And you're going to serve your brother, Jacob. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
See, and that's where we at now. He got the dominion. He done broke Jacob's yoke off his neck, and he got the dominion temporarily. See, go ahead, 41.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
See, he was mad at Jacob and still been killing Jacob since then. Been killing Jacob. But it was his own doing. The Lord said he loved Jacob and hated Esau. But now, let's go further. Go to Joshua 15. Because now we're going to identify, because that started as individual. Those blessings took you down to nationhood. And that's what this is about. This is about nationhood. That's why I say all the time, it's not a black thing. It's about nationhood. There are many different nations. God chose one nation, Israel. But Israel got cursed, so now you got another nation, his twin brother, acting like he's him. Joshua 15. Now this is when Israel came out of Egypt. See, by this time, Esau already had the land that the Lord gave him. And we're gonna identify where it is, because this is all important. This is how you can see how Esau was easily able to become the Jew, because he always been right there with it. You know, they was born together. First of all, Jacob and Esau was born together. If that ain't close, you don't know what close is. And then they resided right next to each other when they inherited their lands down the generation. So it wasn't hard for Esau to take advantage when Jacob got kicked out the promised land. It wasn't hard. Joshua 15:1. Go ahead.
This then was the lot of the tribe of the children of Judah by their families.
Okay, because Judah, one of the 12 tribes, became the strongest tribe ultimately. But they all inherited their land. Judah had his land, Simeon had his land, Benjamin had his land, and Naphtali had their land. But no coincidence, Judah land was right where Edom is. So he said, this is the lot. This is when they inherited the land, when they came out of Egypt. Read that again, 15:1.
This then was the lot of the tribe of the children of Judah by their families.
By their families, what?
Even to the border of Edom, the wilderness of Zin, southward was the uttermost part of the south coast.
Okay, now Edom is who? Esau. We saw that already. So it's letting you know that Judah, when they inherited their land, he said their border was even to the border of Edom, the wilderness of Zin, southward. So in other words, when you went south in Judah, when you got out of Judah, you was in Edom land. So they right next door. So the north of Edom land bordered the south of Judah's land. They shared the border. That's what he's telling you here. He said, then was the lot of the tribe of Judah, children of Judah by their family, even to the border of Edom. They lot went to the border of Edom, the wilderness of Sin, southward. So when you go south in Judah, you leave Jerusalem, going south in Judah, the tribe of Judah, when you got to the end, you was in Edom. To the uttermost part of the south coast. Skip to verse 21 and read that. Go ahead.
And the uttermost cities of the tribe of the children of Judah toward the coast of Edom southward were Kabzeel and Eder and Jagar. And
okay, good. So the uttermost cities of the tribe of the children of Judah toward the coast of Edom southward. So when you went south in Judah's tribe, the last cities were these three cities he named, and then you getting into Edom's land. Kabzeel, Eder, and Jagar. So this lets you know they bordered. They was right next to each other all the line. We're gonna set the stage for them to take over. Now we're gonna read from the Atlas of the Bible. That's the first history we're gonna read from. That's the first page, the reference, page 160. And we got page 161 is the map on the right. So you can look at that right now. See, if you look at that, what we just got through talking about, you see right in the middle, toward the bottom, you see Judea. Because Judah was in the south area of the nation of Israel as a whole. Judah was in the south of the nation, and that's why when you got to the southernmost part of Judah, you went into Edom, which this is the Greek name Idumea on this map. Because this is the time when they were using Greek. So the Greek name for Edom is Idumea. So you see Idumea just under Judea, right? Okay, we're going to read it, though. Atlas of the Bible, page 160. Go ahead. At the top left, Antiochus.
Antiochus the seventh was killed in battle in 129. The Seleucid Empire went into his death throes.
Okay, now these are Greeks. Because, again, all this stuff been going on. The Gentiles been running, but Edom started to maneuver. As Israel had hard times, Edom was able to maneuver. And we're going to see that in history and in the Bible. Because we're going to run Esau down, because one thing you got to remember, Esau is here to this day prominently. He's here. So now, he went nowhere. And that begs the question, why don't nobody never say nothing about Esau? Even when they try to describe, they say, well, those people over there, not Jews, they from Eastern Europe, so they got converted, but they never say nothing about Esau. Somebody missed the ball. I know they're not Jews either, but I know who they are. But now, Antiochus killed in battle in 129. The Seleucid Empire went into the death throes. That was part of the Greek Empire. Go ahead.
In the subsequent power vacuum, Hyrcanus began to expand Judea's borders, accelerating the rise of the Hasmonean kingdom. Okay, so
Hyrcanus, he's an Israelite of the tribe of Judah. These Israelites, this is when we still had a little strength in our land, even though technically, I mean, we've been in captivity to the Babylon, to the Medo-Persians, not to the Greeks at this time, but we still had people in the land that went back from Ezra and Nehemiah time and had a little strength and was trying to have an army and fight. Okay, so this Hyrcanus, he is a Israelite. It said he began to expand Judea's borders. See, that's why they got the map over here. But we just saw from the Bible that when you go to the southernmost part of Judah, you went into Edom land, right? Okay, now, go ahead, keep reading. We're going to read through some of that. Some of it's blanked out, but go ahead.
Other links to the sea were established with the takeover of Jamnia and Azotus.
Okay, so this is what he was doing. He was expanding the border because he's trying to keep the Greeks from breaking in on them all the time. So he's trying to secure it, really. But now, skip over to about 125.
By 125, Hyrcanus had annexed part of Samaria and all of Idumea.
See, by 120, this is before Jesus' time. By 125, Hyrcanus had annexed part of Samaria, because Samaria, that was the north part of Israel. That's where the 10 tribes' capital was, in Samaria. Where they had failed a long time ago, and other people was already in there. But when you're trying to defend yourself, you worried about all your borders. So to the north, They look, we got to take some of this land to keep these people from breaking in up north. So he annexed part of Samaria and all of Idumea in the south. So he went all the way down on the map. That means he just took control of that because they had more strength than the Edom at this time. So he took control of Idumea, which is Edom, brothers and sisters. That's all it is. It's Edom. He took control of Idumea and what? Go ahead.
The conquest of Idumea meant that the easy southern approaches to the hill country of Judea, which the Seleucids had used repeatedly, were secure.
See, that's why he did it. So it said the conquest of Idumea. See, you just got to know they use different names, but we know who they talking about. See, we know Idumea is Edom. We already know Israel's southern border was with Edom already. So just because they put another name on the map, I know who they talking about. And they not trying to hide it either. That's just the Greek name for Edom. And that's in the Bible. We're going to find that in the Bible. Lord name them all the names he got so you can't miss them. Because the Lord know he hiding himself. See, Edom is hiding, but the Lord yanking the cover off of him. That's why we see him clearly. So he said, look, the conquest of Idumea meant that the easy southern approaches to the hill country of Judea, which the Seleucids had used repeatedly, were secure. That's how they used to come in, and Edom probably just let them in. Yeah, go ahead, get them. Come on, we'll let y'all in. And they come in, and they attacking Israel from the south because they coming through Edom's border. So Israel got smart. They said, look, we got to get these people in check. We got to take this over, keep them from getting in our back door. So that's what they did. Go ahead.
The people in these territories were forced to accept Judaism as a means of ensuring their loyalty.
All the people in Idumea, the Edomites. See, this is how they even got enough understanding of the customs that Israel followed where they can palm themselves off as being a Jew now. Because they got converted to it. It said the people in these territories were forced to accept Judaism as a means of ensuring their loyalty. Go ahead.
Among the converted were the ancestors of the future king of Judea, Herod the Great.
See, the future king of Judea, Herod, in Jesus' times, his ancestors were converted. This is 125 BC, prior to Jesus coming. So he was some of the ones got converted. Then next thing you know, in Jesus' day, the Romans make him king over the whole area. That shows you where they find a way to keep Israel on the bottom. So they made him king. Go ahead.
In 108, Hyrcanus embarked on a second campaign in Samaria.
Okay, so that's good. So we see that Edom land was south of Israel's land, south of Judah, and when Israel was being attacked by the Greeks so many times, they forced them to convert. They made them circumcise their kids. They made them start following the customs of Israel to ensure their loyalty, to make them feel a part of things so they wouldn't be on the side of the Greeks. But that only lasts so long. Now, let's go to Psalm 137. See, because Edom always had their own agenda going back to Esau. Esau mad because he didn't get that blessing, and he's been trying to put a hurting on Israel since then. He hated Israel. So even here, when these Gentiles doing Israel in, just like the Greeks was doing Israel in, Israel had to bottle up the Edomites to keep them in check and to keep the Greeks from sneaking in through the south of Israel's land, from Edom land. Psalm 137. Psalm 137. And we're going to pick it up at 1. Yeah, it's so much to teach. It's hard. I think doing this lesson here, I haven't did it in over 2 years here. Or probably back home. So, but it's just so much to keep up with the word of God. Psalm 137, because last time I did it here, I know we were still at the hotel. 137 and 1. Go ahead.
By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion.
Okay, so now again, all this is just show, because Edom is important. The reason why Edom is so important because of their connection with Israel. And that they have usurped Israel and replaced Israel now. But they always been around Israel. I mean, again, we were born together. We were twin boys in the womb together. So you don't get no closer than that. See, and it don't matter about the shade and the color, because again, we closer to them than we are to Hamites that look more like us in color-wise. We closer to them. It's just like certain diseases we get along with them that other people might not get. Because we close to them, as they say, DNA-wise. We are close to them. And they closer to us than if they need some help on something as far as, some type of transplant, they have a much better chance getting it from us than a Gentile, even though they might look complexion-wise closer to a Gentile. But we're going to see some of that. Psalm 137:1, read it again.
By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Mm-hmm. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion.
See, this is when Israel getting in trouble, because again, this is where Esau snuck in whenever we was in trouble with God and God was punishing us. So God punishing us. So by the rivers of Babylon, we gone. We wept when we remember Zion, verse 2.
We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song. And they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion.
See, that nothing has changed. You get led away captive, they want you to steal. You already having a hard time. That's okay. Get over there and sing and dance for me. That's right. They had fiddler in the roots. He had to do it. He knew what his job was. But at this time, when it was new to you, said, man, how can we do this? He said, we hanged our harps on the willows, upon the willows in the midst thereof, for they there that carried us away. See, that's Israel's middle name, slavery. Going into captivity. That's how they can be identified clearly. Israel is enslaved to this day. Everywhere they at as a people, they was brought there as slaves. That's how you could identify them. So if you didn't know whether they was black or white, well, you find the people that was enslaved, then you would know. It's a black people. So he said, for there they that carried us away captive, they required of us a song, and they that wasted it, they whooping your head. That's what wasted means. Wasted us required of us mirth. You getting your head busted. That's all right. Be happy now. You don't want to let the guests see you crying. Saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. See, now we so far from who we are. We lost. They don't say nothing about singing one of the songs of Zion, but it's still the same thing. They just call them what? Negro spirituals. It's the same thing. Nothing has changed. It's just that we lost from being Israel and associated with Zion, so they just call it something else by the bywords that we known by. But it's the same thing. But now we got to bring Edom in here, because Edom is right here all the time. We getting our head busted, there go Edom. Go ahead.
How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land?
See, and that's what we doing over here. We even got away from singing the Lord's song. We just sing a Negro spiritual. But go ahead.
If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning.
And we didn't forget. But the good thing about the Lord didn't forget. And that's how we getting reminded now. But go ahead.
If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy.
Okay, so now he's talking about when Babylon took us out. This was going on. But Babylon took us out. But now, here go Edom. Go ahead, verse 7.
Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
See, because Edom are always right there. When we got in trouble, remember they our neighbor to the south. So when we got in trouble, then they was clapping their hands, said, yeah, destroy them down to the ground. Because they wanted to take advantage of our bad situation all the time. That's what they do. That's what they do. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem. Said, remember them, Lord, for what they did. What did they do? They said, raise it, even to the front. Tear it all down. That's what they telling the other people. See, they not necessarily doing it, but they associating with the people who doing us in and helping them out and telling them, yeah, get them all. Get them all. But now, let's go further. Go to, I'm sorry. No, that's it.
That's it.
We can read 8 and 9 later. You can read that on your own because he go back to talk about Babylon. Go to Amos 1. Go to Amos 1. Yeah, because he went back to saying talking about Babylon. But he threw Edom in the mix because when we in trouble, when God is letting people punish us, take us into slavery, Edom always sticking his hand in it. And that's why the Lord got his number. Instead of being like a real twin brother, you would be trying to help your brother. Now, Edom said, tear it all down. Amos 1:9. Amos 1:9. And that's why it's amazing that, Edom say, sometime when you do lessons like this, somebody might call this racist or anti-Semitic. Well, one thing, I couldn't be anti-Semitic because I am Semitic.
Right.
So, but that's what they like to say, point out. Now, we just point out some facts. Amos 1:9. Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof. Because they deliver up the whole captivity to Edom, and remembered not the brotherly covenant.
Now, here's some black people who we think it's a black thing, but here's other black people who sold us into slavery. That's why he tell you, read Joel on your own, he talk about how Tyre and Zidon sold us to the Grecians that we might be removed far from our border. So that's how the Gentiles even got us over here. Some black people sold us. And Edom had a hand in it. Arabs had a hand in it. All of them had a hand in our demise. Like I told somebody once that we was Israel. We the real Israel. The first thing popped in their mind, they said, that's almost impossible, because if we the real Israel, this is back in the 80s. If we the real Israel, that means all these nations are in cahoots about it. I say, you're exactly right. All of them are. And I flipped over and read Psalm 83, which we're going to read in a minute.
Right.
But now, he said, look, thus said the Lord, for 3 transgression of Tyrus. Now, Tyrus are black people. And for 4, I would not turn away their punishment thereof. What they do? Because they delivered up the whole captivity to who? To Edom. See, Edom always waiting to get us. With somebody else jamming us, Edom say, I help you finish them off. I help you finish them off. They delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remember not the brotherly covenant, verse 10.
But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof.
See, he talking about Tyrus, but it's still in association how Edom used us. Now he going to get to Edom. Go ahead, verse 11.
Thus said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
Now, what did Edom do? Go ahead.
Because he did pursue his brother with the sword.
Oh, he pursued his brother. Who is his brother? Jacob, right? So we're a long way from when them 2 boys was in the womb. We're a long way from when they was in the womb together, about to be born through Rebekah. Both of these are Rebekah's children. But the Lord said 2 nations are in your womb. Now we down in nationhood now. He said, thus said the Lord, 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment there, because he did pursue his brother, talking about Israel, Jacob, because Jacob's name was changed to Israel, with the sword, and did what?
And did cast off all pity.
Did cast off all pity. Go ahead.
And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
See, he taking advantage to this day. Go ahead, but what the Lord say?
But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Bozrah.
See, those are Esau's descendants, some of his sons, and the Lord called them by those names. Teman and Bozrah are other names for Edom. You see them all over the scripture. Now, let's go back to Psalm, this time the 83rd, Psalm 83. Because again, this is going to show you, when Israel went into hiding, we went into hiding in captivity. That's where we went. That's how we hide. We went into hiding in captivity. We became Negroes, Afro-American, colored, black. We don't know who we are. So we hiding from ourselves. We went into hiding, but that's when Esau went into hiding, because he was able to step in once we gone and say, look, I'm the Jew. And nobody there to say otherwise. You gone into slavery. It's just like in this country. You had people here before the people got here and took over the land. You had people here before, but they still here, so they call them the Native Americans. They still call the place America and everything. They said, well, these are Native Americans. But that's only because they still here. If they had got rid of all of them, you wouldn't know nothing about them. They could erase them from history and just say, we the Americans, we've been here. We've been here forever. Somebody that knew some history said, nah, it was some Native Americans here first. So that's the same thing here. The only difference is the natives are gone. That's why even some people, they joke and call us the natives. But that's another thing. Go to Psalm 83 and 1. 83 and 1. Go ahead.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
See what he called Israel, God's people? He called Israel God's hidden ones. But he said these nations have taken not just had a little backdoor meeting. He said they have taken crafty counsel. See, this had to be some crafty stuff done to erase a whole people from who they are. That's what happened to us. We are no more as a people. And you can't even find out unless you come back to the Bible. You can't. Nobody ain't going to tell you. But thank God he left a record of it in the Bible. That's some real crafty counsel. You are nobody from nowhere. That's amazing. And we take that. I'm talking about you got educated people, go to college, got PhDs. They accept that they originally are nobody from nowhere. They accept that. They accept it to this day. Now, nobody asks them, well, where am I originally from? You know, some people get a little curious. They start doing as far as they do, because they don't know nothing about the Bible, they start taking the DNA test. Well, I want to see where I'm from. That's because they know something is missing. Wait a minute. Because, you know, you're around other people. You know, I was working on my job. I used to go to a place, nothing but Polish people work there. They talk about the old country. Yeah, we sit around, drink coffee. And I guess they figured, yeah, you don't know where you from. But see, I knew. I can relate to them talking about the old country because I know I got an old country too. But most of us don't know that. So this is how it happened, though. It's crap. See, the whole world had to conspire on this. He said, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against your hidden ones. What they do, verse 4.
They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
That's what happened, haven't it? We not a nation no more. We black. There's no black nation. We Afro-American. There's no Afro-American. There's no Negro nation. There's no colored nation. We still show you how slow we are. And we still walking around with an organization called the NAACP. We still got that. And you got people work at that organization like they doing something. Who are those people? That's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. The black people get insulted. You call them colored now, but you still got they need to at least get smart and change the name. Change it to the NAACP or something. I don't know. So but we've been cut off from who we really are. He said, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation that what?
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
See, we're not known by that. And even the Edomites rarely use Israel. They call the state Israel, but they focus on and they use Jew. They don't even use Israel because they was south of Judah, and that's what they was most familiar with anyway. They can't even claim. They're not walking around claiming, talking about, well, here go the other 11 tribes somewhere else. They can't even tell that lie. They're not even trying. That's why some people say, they try to say, well, you know, they just one tribe, and it's some other it's the 11 tribes or somewhere else, and some of them is black. Now, all of them black, and they not one of them. They not one of them. They not Judah. But now, he said, look, cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
With one consent. Go ahead.
They are confederate against thee.
See, he's talking about all these nations. He's going to start to name them, brothers and sisters. It had to be. There's no way one people can be cut off from who they are and have everything taken from them without other nations conspiring to do it together. They agreed together. So he said, they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against God. See, they don't know it's against God, though. They thought it was just against us. God was mad at us, but not permanently. Right. They confederate against thee, he's saying. Who are they? Verse 6.
The tabernacles of Edom.
You know you got to mention him first because he's the main culprit. the tabernacles of Edom. Number one, head of the list. Go ahead.
And the Ishmaelites.
And that's our brothers, the Arabs. They second on the list. Now, these are the very two main characters fighting over the promised land right now. See, and that show you both of them know it don't belong to them. Both of them know. Why do you think they fighting like tooth and nail each other? You know, neither one of them don't have no more of a claim than the other. Look, they made deals to say, look, you have this part, you have this part. Now everybody always get greedy, though. Right. Now they can't keep the deals they made. So he said the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites and who else?
Of Moab and the Hagarenes.
Oh, not just them. And he give another long list of other nationalities, even Lot's descendants, Ammon, and he mentioned Moab just then. He give a long list of people in Israel's neighborhood. But the main characters is Edom and Ishmael. It's just like me and Brother Shahid and Elsa, we went to see this movie that they got out, Village of Peace. And it's about the Israelites that left Chicago back in the 60s. And one of them say he the anointed one, and they over in the land. But the bottom line, they took questions, and one of the guys in the movie took questions after the movie, and somebody asked him, well, what about they call them Palestinians. What about the Palestinians over there? You know, y'all over there, y'all done went home, so-and-so. What about the Palestinians on there? Only thing, so the guy, he tried to diss Palestine, because Palestine is the Roman name that they gave to the land. So he tried to diss that, and then he tried to, diss them, because basically he really got to choose a side between these two. Between what two? Between Edom and Ishmael. That's who the Palestinians are, they Ishmael. He got to choose a side. So basically, since they fighting in Edom's army now, that's the side he done chose. So, but then in the conclusion, he finally said, but we still kind of look at ourselves as the peacemakers between the two. We look at ourselves as the peacemakers. We supposed to be a light. Yeah, we supposed to be a light, but how the heck you going to be a peacemaker between two people fighting over your land? And that's exactly what he said. He said, we the peacemakers between the two sides. Nah. But see, they didn't threw the towel in. That's why Edom gave them a little respite, because they didn't threw the towel in. They don't say that Edom is not Israel openly like that no more. But that's what he said. Who was it again, verse 6?
The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes.
So, and he named a whole lot more. We're not going to read them, because all the nations in the area, and even to this day, the Gentiles had a hand in making sure we were cut off. They consulted with one consent, he said. But what did they do ultimately? Verse 12, go ahead.
Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
See, he named all them people, and then he said, that's what they said. Let us take to ourselves the house of God in possession. Why what? Why Israel is scattered into captivity and is lost as a nation. That's when they took over. But Edom is the head of the list. Now go to Obadiah. Edom is the head of the list. That's why the Lord talking about him all over. That's why he got to be here. Obadiah. See, the Lord got an answer for everything. So you tell somebody, well, you Israel, you the real Jew. They going to say, well, who those people? We know who they are. We know exactly who they are. They doing exactly what the Lord said they would do. Even the Lord talk about them right here, going back to what Jacob, what Isaac blessed him with, to live by his sword and live high on the hill. This is what Obadiah going to tell you. And it's only one chapter, 1 and 1. Go ahead.
The vision of Obadiah. Thus said the Lord God concerning Edom.
We still talking about Edom. So you got too much about Edom for him to just not be around no more. And we're going to show you got much about him to the end of the world. So this ain't something that just stopped. Because I remember years ago when I found out about this, I was talking to a Jehovah's Witness, came to my house, So I would let him in. And we talking, and I mentioned Israel, and then he said, well, what about those? I said, they Edom. He said, no, they can't be Edom, because Edom disappeared from history in 70 AD. He did enough research to come up with that. I said, yeah, he disappeared from history, but that don't mean he gone nowhere. They ain't, just because they not calling his name don't mean he not here. Maybe they calling him something else. And that's the key. So he said, the vision Obadiah, thus said the Lord concerning Edom, we what?
We have heard a rumor from the Lord. And an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Go ahead.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
See, Edom to this day, he disliked among the nations, that's heathen, as well, just not as much as us. We dislike more than anybody. But Edom is disliked as well. You know, sometimes, you know, and they done went through some hard time. Well, the Lord brought that on them. But still, with all that said, look who live in the ghetto and look who live high on the hill.
Right.
Just like they got the nerve to have the nerve to even talk about some ghettos, you know, like some Jewish ghettos. Give me a break. You know, you can go look at their ghettos around here and see how ghetto it is once you get out of our neighborhood. But because this is where they at. Go ahead, verse 3.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
See, he telling Edom, the pride of your heart hath deceived you. That what?
That thou dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high.
See, they living high, just like Isaac promised. To this day, they living high. They doing good in this world. Even though it's the Gentiles' time, they riding high with the Gentiles. The Gentiles let them roll. Go ahead.
That said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle,
go ahead,
and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord.
See, the Lord said, I'm going to bring you down, and I'm going to uncover you, and everybody going to know who you really are, because nobody is calling them Edom now. Go ahead.
If thieves came to see, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off?
Go ahead.
Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
Go ahead.
If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
See, the Lord is really talking down on Esau. He said, I'm going to hurt him bad. He said, I'm going to be worse than a thief. If a thief came, he wouldn't steal everything you got. I'm taking it all because you done been wrong. That's why I don't have to be mad at nobody. The Lord going to get everybody who got something coming. If thieves come and robbers by night, ooh, how I thought cut off. Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grape? Look, you know, people break in your house and do stuff. They leave you something. The Lord said, I'm taking it all. Go ahead, verse 6.
How are the things of Esau searched out?
See, how are the things of Esau? Because he hiding. So how is this going to be brought to bear? The Lord is doing it. That's how we know. Only reason I know and we know because the Lord is showing it to us in the scripture. And the Lord going to deal with them. That's why I ain't got to be out shaking my finger at nobody. Oh, you just going to, look, the Lord going to get them. How are the things that Esau searched out? How are what?
How are his hidden things sought up?
How are his hidden things? There you go hiding again, right? Then we see that the very first scripture, Jeremiah 49, the Lord said, I'm going to make Esau bad. I have done it. He shall not be able to hide himself. I see his secret place because he hide. Because you don't hear nobody going by Esau or Edom. Right. You don't hear nobody going by that. But he's still here. Go ahead, verse 7.
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevail against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
So again, going back to Psalm 83, this is the same thing. It's a confederacy of nations. See, Edom not doing it by himself. Edom couldn't pull this off by himself. He had nations go along with him. It's just like now you talk to some Arabs, they will say point blank, yeah, I know he's not the real Jew. Yeah, but you went along with it long enough. So he had help. That's why he said, verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. What border are we talking about? We're talking about the land of Israel. That's how he has been able to commandeer the land of Israel. He's had help from other nations. They brought you to the border. The men, and they tricked you because now they didn't set you up, and now you going to fight for the land like it's yours, and you going to go down fighting when the Lord shows. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. They prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding him. Verse 8.
Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
See, Esau and Edom, one and the same. Started off as just one little red, hairy baby. And look where we at now. We all the way down to it's great drama about to come. Great drama. He said, shall I not in that day, said the Lord, destroy the wise men out of Edom and understand not the amount of Esau? Because they claim to have a lot of wisdom. You know, like you had supposedly people like Albert Einstein supposedly came from Esau, right? But the Lord said, you really don't have no understanding. Verse 9.
And thy mighty men, O T-Man, shall be dismayed.
See, T-Man is one of his descendants, another name for Esau. T-Man, go ahead.
To the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Now, why is the Lord going to do him this way? Back to what he did, verse 10.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob.
See, going back to these two boys. This is what it's all. So over the years, Esau took advantage. Esau took advantage of the real Israel, Jacob. For thy violence against your brother. Not just your brother, it say brother here, but we know it's even deeper than that. It's your twin brother, right? They was twins in the womb. And he done a number on us. That's why we can't, if we try to stand up on our own physically, hey, he going to help put his foot on our neck. That's why I understood, even though I ain't with the politics and none of that, but I understood when Jesse Jackson tried to run for president, boy, them Edomites was up in arms. And beat him over the head with Farrakhan until he gave in. Because if we try to stand up, hey, they going to make sure it don't work. But what they don't know, they can't stop the Lord. See, when you stand up by serving the Lord, ain't nothing you can do with that. See, he said, for thy violence against your brother Jacob, shame is going to cover you, Esau. What?
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
And you're going to be cut off forever. It hadn't happened yet. Go ahead, verse 11.
In the day that thou stoodest on the other side.
Now, this is what he been doing all along. What'd he do?
In the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them.
See, they sided with, when we got in trouble with God, they went along and took advantage of it with our enemies. In the day that you stood on the other side with the other people, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, talking about Israel. When Israel went into slavery, strangers came and took us out, and foreigners entered into the gates. Esau was right there with him, and he, our neighbor, our twin brother. Esau was right there with him, took advantage of it. Verse 12.
But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger.
See, this is in the Bible for a reason, brother and sister. The Lord said you shouldn't have did it. It's like, you know, the Lord could be mad at a brother. He could be mad at somebody right here on King Boulevard. He could be mad at him and let a car hit him. Because can't no car hit nobody and knock you down in the street unless the Lord wanted it. So the Lord could be mad at somebody and let a car hit him. But I go out there and see, I'm not going to go grab a brother's shoes and say, well, you don't need these no more. I'm taking advantage of a bad situation.
Right.
I should still try to help the brother. Even though he could say, well, you know, I think the Lord was mad at me, hit me, and say, okay, well, you better do better, but I'm going to help you to the hospital. I'm going to at least try to do that. But see, Esau didn't do that. Esau took advantage of it. Esau took advantage of it. He said, you should not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. We got lost because we got taken out. Now we lost. We hidden. Neither what?
Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
What else? Go ahead.
Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity.
That's the key. They entered into the gate. But you know they was just south of us anyway, right? So it wasn't hard. They right there in the area. So they see what's going on. Matter of fact, a lot of them was in the area with us, so it was real easy. He said, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. What else?
Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity.
What else?
Nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
See, that's why we don't have nothing that belong to us. And you know, they got all kind of artifacts of stuff, but we don't see nothing. How you going to have an artifact of some of these emperors, but you don't have no artifact of Paul, Peter, Moses, or none of those people? Yeah, you got it, but you can't show it because it's going to show how the people really look. They really are black. And even some of these artifacts they have show, like King Tut, the ones they show, they try to attribute it all to Egypt. But that just proves again that Israel looked like the Egyptians, so they all had to be black. But they laid hand on all the stuff, so we don't have any of our history anymore. Go ahead, 14.
Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
See, they made sure we got out the way so because they had a plan they was working. Now, let's read from this footnote, the same history we read with the Atlas of the Bible. This time we're going to read the bottom left. This is just a footnote for the book of Obadiah. It's not in this Bible that I have, but some of the Bibles, before you read the book, it gives you a little synopsis. Some of it can be bogus. Some of it can make some sense, but this sheds some light on it for you. So this was the introduction, I really should have said, to the book of Obadiah in one of my old Bibles. So some of y'all might even have something similar in yours now. But now, so we're going to read this about, because this is Obadiah talking about Edom, but we're going to see what they thought about this. Go ahead.
Obadiah is the shortest book in the Old Testament. The name Obadiah means servant or worshiper of the Lord, and belonged to 13 men in the Old Testament.
Okay, so that's elementary. Go ahead.
The evidence of the text best supports an early date for the prophecy, since Edom is mentioned as having more than one ally. The most likely time for this prophecy is during the reign of Jehoram, 852 to 841 BC, when Jerusalem was plundered.
And yet that got blew it out, but when Jerusalem was plundered, I got the original, but it don't matter. I was going to skip that anyway. When Jerusalem was plundered, because they looking at it as, they looking at it as something that's just for back then, but they telling you it's prophecy. So skip to the next paragraph about poetry. Go ahead.
This whole prophecy is poetry.
See, this whole prophecy is poetry. That's what it sounds like to them. But prophecy is prophecy. That means prophecy is telling you something that's still yet to happen. Go ahead.
The reader must be careful in his interpretation.
Well, I mean, it ain't hard. I ain't got to interpret nothing. He got a problem with Edom. We can all agree to that, right?
Right.
We talking about the people of Esau, the Edomites. He got a problem, and we know what the problem is. We know that it's what they have done to their brother Jacob. So it ain't, I mean, what is it to interpret? It's telling you what it's about. Go ahead.
The reader must be careful in his interpretation of this book to consider the Hebrew parallelism.
Go ahead.
This particular style of poetry reveals Obadiah's intense emotional involvement.
Yeah, right. But go ahead.
The Edomites were a thorn in Israel's side.
Okay, now that's true. The Edomites were a thorn in Israel's side. Go ahead.
Though they enjoyed special protection under the law.
That's right. Israel wasn't trying to hurt them. Matter of fact, the Bible say, don't abhor Edomite in Deuteronomy. He is your brother. The Bible said, oh, that's why I ain't hating them. I ain't mad at them. I know the Lord going to fix the situation, though. So they enjoy special protection under the law. What else?
Herod the Great, who lived in the New Testament times, was an Idumean, a descendant of the Edomites.
Oh, so it told you the same thing that the earlier one we read in the Atlas of the Bible, that this Herod the Great was an Idumean or an Edomite, because that's the Greek name for Edom in the New Testament times, right? Now, notice this last sentence, because it says a mouthful. Go ahead.
After Jerusalem's fall in AD 70, the Edomites vanished from history.
No kidding. See, this is what the whole witness quoted to me. He had read something similar to, he said, no, they disappeared from history. I said, yeah, you said it right. They disappeared from history. That don't mean they gone. Nobody talking about them under that name no more, because I know they stopped being Edom or Esau from that day forward because they call themselves Jews. He said after Jerusalem fall in AD 7, no coincidence that that's when the Romans took the rest of us into slavery. So when we went into slavery, all of us was gone, nobody to dispute nothing because you trying to keep from getting hung on the trees. Now, only thing they got to do is say, yeah, we the Jew now. We the Jew now. See, that's why the Lord said, I'm going to uncover you hiding. And I know he got to be here because the Lord talking about dealing with him when he come back. So after Jerusalem fall in AD 7, the Edomites vanished from history. Go ahead.
Some suggest, however, that there will be a future resurgence of the Edomites.
Yeah, it ain't going to be no future resurgence. They ain't went nowhere. They ain't got to resurge. They where they at. Now, let's see where they at. Let's go back to, let's look at this other one. Look at this other one right quick. Because this what throw a lot of people off, this DNA things. And then, see, because you got a lot of people, you got to realize, no, none of these people that's talking this historical stuff, they don't really know about Edom like we reading out the Bible. So a lot of people try to dispute. They say, well, they not the Jews. Well, I know they not the Jews. But they use the wrong argument. A lot of them say, well, you know, see, most of them from Eastern Europe anyway, they not the Jew. But still, I know all of them can't be from Eastern Europe because I know they got to be Edomites. I know who I got to be looking at in the promised land. But they go through that. They say, you know, and they got a lot of stuff like this. So I know where we getting it from because they got tons and tons of stuff that's just saying point blank that those people, even though we know they not Jews, I know they not Jews, but they use the argument to say they are Gentiles. But see, as a whole, you still got to come up and show me where Edom is. That's what I tell people all the time. So now if you look at this on the surface, I didn't give you the cover page. The first page just said, the title of the article is DNA Samples Confirm Ashkenazi Jews Are of European Descent. Okay, now that sounds good. They said, see, they not Jews anyway. Well, I know they not Jews. However, I know that the majority of them can't be of European descent. I know that too. You know how I know? Because the Lord is talking about Esau. Esau got to be there prominently. So I looked at this article. I said, here's another one. I said, let me read. Because sometimes the only thing you got to do, brothers and sisters, is read the fine print. Edom don't know what they're doing anyway. And the people doing these studies. See, Edom that mess people up. You know how Edom say you're supposed to determine your heritage or your lineage? Through the mother, right? They already off point with that. Because that's not how you determine. And that's where they getting mixed up at. That's where they getting mixed up. So, yeah, when you read this article, because they actually did some DNA, so you know they ain't just going to straight up lie to us. But when you read the fine print, you find out why they saying most of these Ashkenazi Jews are from European descent, because they looking at the women. That's who they looking at. They looking at the women. So let's read a little bit of it. Go ahead, read from the latest. Go ahead.
Latest DNA study solves the long-standing controversy regarding the origin of Europe's Ashkenazi Jews, stating that their maternal lineage came from Europe.
See, when you say maternal, if you don't know, you're talking about the female. Their maternal lineage came from Europe, and that's what they say depends on whether or not you a Jew or not. I know why they say it, because they know that they done went out there and married a bunch of other women. So they try to say, well, you ain't a Jew, because they don't understand how, well, God got it. Hey, the man carried the seed, period. So, but that's what they dealing with. They dealing with the maternal. So they done tested all these women. They say, yeah, they originally from European descent. But nah, they just, that don't mean the men are. Because the men, even though they not Jews, they still associated closely with the Jews. They from Esau. Go ahead, read a little further.
The researchers at the University of Huddersfield use archaeogenetics to solve the controversy of the origin of Ashkenazi Jews, of whether they migrated from Palestine in the 1st century AD,
right,
or their ancestors were Europeans who converted to Judaism. They analyzed the DNA samples to investigate the prehistoric settlements of Europe by migrants from Near East.
Go ahead.
Analysis of the mitochondrial DNA samples revealed that the Ashkenazim female line
the female line
descended from Southern and Western Europe and not the Near East.
Exactly, but we just dealing with the female. Because the bottom line is, regardless of how people look, I know from the Bible that Edom got to still be in charge in Israel. So when people, like I read stuff, I know what they saying. They say, well, it's 85% of the ones over there is not really Edomites. Well, if that's the case, why is the Lord even mad at Edom? He should just be mad at Gentiles. You know, he shouldn't even be saying all this about Edom, like Edom then took over and gonna be there running it when he get there. But no, because Edom is there. It don't matter who they marry. Go ahead.
DNA analysis claims that most of the Ashkenazi Jews were at least half genetically Europeans, debunking the previous assumptions that they were of Middle Eastern region.
See, that's why they said at least half, because they just focusing on the women. Go ahead.
The origins of the Ashkenazim is one of the big questions that people have pursued again and again and never really come to a conclusive view.
See, and they not going to come to a conclusive view because they looking at it through the wrong lens anyway. Already, we know they not Jews. See, they trying to connect them and say whether they Jews or not. No, they not the Jews in the first place. But are they from the area? The men, definitely, because they Israel's twin brother. And even the DNA can show that. Just like they did a test on some of these, what's the black group they did a test on DNA? Right, Limber, and it lined up, and they tested, they compared it to some of the Edomites in the land, and it lined up with them. Because you still got another side. What's the other side of the Edomites who's supposed to really be the religious ones? Not the Ashkenazi, but the Sephardic, right. Well, you know, it ain't even no doubt about them. But still, the majority of these Ashkenazis are still the men is Edom. Go ahead.
Said Professor Martin Richards, head of the Archaeogenetics Research Group based at the University of Huddersfield and co-author of the study, who has described the new data as compelling.
Go ahead.
Ashkenazi in Hebrew means Germans.
Exactly. Go ahead.
And is used for Jews of Eastern European origin who historically spoke Yiddish or Judeo-German language. Not much is known about the history of the Ashkenazi Jews before they moved out from the Mediterranean and settled in present-day Poland around the 12th century.
Right. And that's one thing to show that they not Israel, because Israel got taken into slavery. See, these people migrated to different places, married who they wanted to marry, but Israel got taken into slavery. But one thing why some of them were looked upon, because some of the ones, even when they was in Germany being afflicted, if you had the opportunity, if you was a so-called Jew, if you had the opportunity to play like you was a German, don't you think you would have did that? To keep from going to the gas chamber or whatever they was going to send you. So that's what happened to her. I know a lot of that because even some of these actors that's from Edom, hey, they changed their name, so they not even associated with Edom no more. They appear to be Gentiles. Edward G. Robinson. Even this big actor family that got a number of Michael and Kirk Douglas, a bunch of them. All of them, they families, hey, they changed their name. You look at their parents had Edomites' names. But they changed their name so they can, look, they didn't have to deal with the flack of being even a so-called Jew. They said, look, I just want to be regular. I don't want to even be associated with it. So that's what messed some people up as well. But now, go ahead.
According to Dr. Harry Ostra, pathology, pediatrics, and genetics professor at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York, on an average, all Ashkenazi Jews are genetically as closely related to each other as fourth or fifth cousins.
Go ahead.
Live Science reports. In the current study, the researchers found that a majority of Ashkenazi Jewish lineages were closely linked to the southern and western Europe, and they were residing in Europe for thousands of years. This suggests that even though Jewish men may indeed have migrated into Europe from Palestine around 2,000 years ago, they seem to have married European women, states Professor Richards.
See, they dealing mostly with women, so they ain't got that ain't really telling you who the seed is. So they put it down. They said this suggests that the Jewish men may have indeed migrated from Europe, but we know the ones over there. You got to have Esau over there big time. And you can read the rest of that on your own. Let's get back to the, now we're going to go to Ezekiel 35, because the Lord going to sum it up, and he going to sum it up with Edom being right there. See, it didn't matter who they married. It didn't matter who they married. Ezekiel 35, because he talking about him big time as taking over the promised land and being there when he come back. 35:1, Ezekiel 35:1. Okay, go ahead.
Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee.
Now, Mount Seir, that's another name for Edom. That's actually the name of his land, which was south of Israel. But the Lord called him by the name of the land as well. But that's where the name comes from. Mount Seir. Israel had Mount Zion. Esau had Mount Seir. Go ahead.
I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate.
See, when he talk about his cities, in this case, he talking about the cities that he done made in Israel now. But go ahead.
And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
See, just like he said in Obadiah, you took advantage when I was punishing my people Israel for their sins. When their calamity came on them, you took advantage of the situation. And notice at verse 5, he said, because he's talking about Mount Seir, which we're going to see who it is. It's Edom or Idumea, because you had a perpetual hatred and shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. Go ahead, verse 6.
Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee.
Go ahead.
Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Go ahead.
Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills and in thy valleys and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword.
Go ahead.
And I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and you shall know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine.
Now he getting down to the meat of it. He said, because you have said, this is what Mount Seir or Esau has said, these two nations shall be mine. What two nations? Because Israel split into two, southern and northern. The name of Ephraim or Israel or the country of Judah. So they split into two separate identities, but Esau wanted all. That's why Esau got the majority of it now. He said, because you have said these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and what?
And we will possess it. Whereas the Lord was there.
See, that's the Lord's country, and he gave it to our forefathers. Even though he kicked us out, he didn't tell these people to go in there and take it over and do what you want to do and act like it's yours now. That's the problem. But it's all about this country that they didn't take over. See, this is how I know Edom got to be in the country even down to the Lord come. That's why it wasn't no surprise that they got the majority of it back starting in 48. And then even in 67, they had a nice little war, took more of it, and they've been controlling this since because they had to be there at this time. He said, verse 10, because you have said these two nations, these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it. That's what Edom said, whereas the Lord was there. Verse 11.
Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them.
Against them is Israel. Go ahead.
And I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee.
Notice he talking about two separate people, even in this one verse. He's talking about Edom, what they did to Israel, but he addressing both of them. He mentioning both of them. He said, therefore, at verse 11, as I live, said the Lord, I would even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. See, we're a long way from these. These are the same two boys born to Rebekah in the womb. We're a long way from that, but it's carried us all the way down here. These are these two right here. He said, according to your envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and he said, I will make myself known among them, talking about Israel, the real ones, when I have judged you. Go ahead, verse 12. Notice he keep mentioning you got two players in these verses. You got the ones that then took over, saying they Jews, and you got the real ones who in obscurity. Verse 12.
And thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
Go ahead.
And that I have heard all thy blasphemies, which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate. They are given us to consume.
See, the Lord saying, you're going to know, I heard your blasphemies. You done took the land and you said it's yours for the taking. I've heard the Lord call that blasphemy. The Lord don't like this at all. People say, oh, it really don't matter. Look, this is in the Bible for a reason. He said, you going to know that I am the Lord, and that I have heard all your blasphemies, which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying they lay desolate, giving us to consume. Verse 13.
Thus, with your mouth you have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me.
Go ahead.
I have heard them.
Lord said, I hear everything. I heard them. Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord God, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate.
That lets you know this is future. The whole earth is about to be blessed when the Lord fix it. The whole earth going to be rejoicing when Jesus come back. That's what he said in Isaiah 14. He said the Lord going to yet bless Israel, and Israel going to come back, and they going to take them captives whose captives they were, right, and they going to rule over their oppressors. And he said it's going to be good at that time. He said he's going to break the yoke, and he said the whole earth is going to be at peace. They're going to break out into singing. So when that happened, though, he said that's when I'm punishing Esau down to the ground. That's when I'm going to get you. Because, see, Esau been living good all this time. Esau been living good. Esau been having the fine neighborhoods while Israel been struggling in the ghetto. Esau been on high on the hill, owning like in this country, own Hollywood, own all of it. Wherever the money is, he in it. That's how you know he cannot be the real Jew. But he boldly saying he the Jew. He couldn't be the Jew. The Jew supposed to be on the bottom. We're going to show you that. But he said, thus with your mouth you boasted against me and multiplied your words against me. I've heard them. Verse 14, thus said the Lord, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make you desolate. Go ahead.
As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel.
Oh, they took our inheritance. This is exactly the reason why. Who you got? You got two people. You got the Mount Seir, and you got the real Israel, but it looks like Mount Seir then took Israel's inheritance according to this, right? They didn't took it. You rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel. Go ahead.
Because it was desolate.
That's right. We went out, they came in. We went into slavery. You took it over. Go ahead.
So will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord.
See, he called him by his Greek name, Idumea, didn't he? Let you know, we talking about the same one. Edom, Jacob's twin brother. He said, you rejoice at the inheritance of Israel. But not only that, at verse 12, what did he say? You going to know that I am the Lord, and I have heard your blasphemies which you spoke against the mountains of Israel. Say, they mine now. See, he called it blasphemy. Let's show you what else he called blasphemy. Because you can't just take the land without saying you the people. Revelation 2. See, that come with it. That's how you can stake claim to the land legitimately. That's how you can do it. You saying you the people, but the Lord says it's all blasphemy. See, this is amazing too, because the average person say they believe in Jesus, they think this is the, you ain't no way you should have a lesson like this and be taught, because this don't matter. This is unimportant. That show you that they don't know what's important to the Lord. This is these words in red. This is from Jesus. He wants us to have some understanding about this. Revelation 2 and verse 9. One verse. Now he heard they blasphemies, Mount Seir, saying the mountains of Israel are laid desolate. They giving them to consume. Not only that, what else did he hear? He's saying the same thing here. Go ahead.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
Again, you're going to have two people who he dealing with in this verse. He's talking to the real Israel. Now, the real Israel is in tribulation and poverty. They scuffling. But spiritually, they rich. You can't be rich and poor at the same time unless you're talking about two different ways. He said, I know your works, I know your tribulation, I know your poverty. You having a hard time, but thou art rich. How you rich? Because really, even though I kicked you out, I put you in captivity, you still got the oracles of God. Nobody else can deal with the word like you. Right. That's why even in slavery, we got more church than anybody. We know we should be in church. We just won't do it right. We know we need to be there, though. He said, but you rich. Then he said he knows something else. What else?
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
See, again, people say, well, gee, y'all, that's y'all kind of racist, and, you talking about people. No, John is talking about you. Jesus talking about you. Jesus talking about you. It must be important. It's not in the Bible just to be sitting here. He talking about two different people, two distinct different people. One of them is poor and struggling. He said, I know about your condition, but you rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. He said, this is blasphemy. And they are not, but they are the synagogue of Satan. Just like he said in Ezekiel 35. He said, you blasphemy, saying the land is yours since we went into captivity. Same old thing. Go to the 3rd chapter, 3 and 9. Same old thing. But notice all the time he got the two sets of people. He got the twins right here. These the same twins. All the way down to the end. These the twins. 3 and 9. Go ahead.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not.
See, this must be important. But what?
But do lie.
This must be important. He keeps saying it. See, people say, well, you saying that, about the Jews, that don't mean nothing. What Jesus is saying, he's concerned about these people lying, saying they Jews. So it must be important for us to understand. I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. What are you going to do?
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
Now, who is thy feet? That's the real ones. That's the Israel. Because remember, Israel got kicked out. They went in. So they went in. They said, this is our land, and we the Jews. But they couldn't be the Jews back home because the real Jews can't go home till the Lord return. Now we're going to come back to Revelation. Go back to Obadiah, we're going to end it. Go back to Obadiah, we're going to end it. Obadiah is only one chapter. We're going to pick it up at 15. Obadiah 1 and 15. See, the Lord going to bring the whole world down. See, Edom just riding on the coattails of the Gentiles. The Gentiles rule the world, but Edom, they get a big bone in the world. That's how we read earlier in Obadiah. He said, the men of your confederacy have brought you to the border. How do you think Edom got control of the land now? Because America didn't help them with weapons and everything. That's why they got all kind of weapons. And then they making sure the Arabs don't get no weapons to fight. They watching every ship that come through there, make sure ain't nobody trying to smuggle them no weapons. But how did Edom get weapons? They got help from other people. That's why even sometimes Russia feel bad. They try to help the Arabs out. But the bottom line, the land don't belong to neither one of them. And the Lord going to deal with all of them when he come, but Edom is still at the head of the list. 15, Obadiah 1 and 15. Go ahead.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen.
Upon all the heathen. Now, he going to deal with everybody, right? He going to deal with all the heathen. That means nations, starting from the top down, but he got a special mention all the time for Esau. Go ahead.
As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
Uh-huh.
Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
Mm-hmm.
For as you have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually.
Uh-huh.
Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance.
See, it's going to be deliverance upon Mount Zion now, because he's going to fix this thing. We went out into captivity. Edom took over. He's going to bring the world down and bring us home from captivity. Upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. Go ahead.
And there shall be holiness.
Uh-huh.
And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions.
Why he got to say that? Because somebody else got them now. Right. The house of Jacob don't have his possessions. Esau got his possessions. And the Arabs got a part of it. And Moab got a part of it. Jordan got a part of it. Ammon. Other people got a part of our possession. But the house of Jacob at this time going to get their own possessions back because, hey, we went into captivity. They never went home. Don't even realize there is a home. That's how bad, that's how lost we are. But then it's easy for it to be that way when you got somebody else sitting in your land saying it's theirs. Go ahead, 18.
And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble.
Oh, and the house of Esau for stubble. This future, this has not happened. That means Esau got to be around here to be the stubble. He got to be around. And he worth, according to the Lord, he worth something. He worth being burned. You know, if he was just in a corner, wasn't doing nothing, the Lord ain't got no, you know, he might give him a break. But he is running things. the house of Esau for stubble. Go ahead.
And they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it.
Go ahead.
And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau. And they of the plain, the Philistines.
Go ahead.
And they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria. And Benjamin shall possess Gilead.
Go ahead.
And the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath.
So Israel coming from captivity, slavery, and we going to possess the land of the Canaanites again, all the way to Zarephath. Remember, we showed the boundaries. We saw how Edom was south of us. So we're going to possess that unto Zarephath. Go ahead.
And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in the Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south.
So they're going to get their cities back, because we ain't had it in a long time. So the ones that's in slavery from Judah and Jerusalem, that's in Sepharad, he said they're going to possess the cities of the south all over again. And what?
And Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord.
And saviors, plural, more than one, because Jesus going to have the saints meet him in the air. They're going to roll with him from then on. Savior is going to come up on Mount Zion. This is at the end, brother and sister. At the end, they're going to come up on Mount Zion to judge the Mount of Esau. Why they got to go to Mount Zion to judge the Mount of Esau? Because that's where he hiding at. He hiding. He's undercover there. But the Lord has already uncovered him to us, but he going to uncover him to the world when he comes. When saviors go up on Mount Zion to judge the Mount of Esau, anybody that don't know, they're going to know now. And the kingdom shall be the Lord's. Let's go back to Revelation, and we got one more, and we're going to end at Revelation 6. Because this is when Jesus come for sure. So let's look at his coming. That's who the saviors are, Jesus and the saints that's going to meet him in there. That's why he said in Psalm 149 that the saints got a two-edged sword in their mouth. Two-edged sword. He said, let the saints be joyful and shout for joy on their bed. And they got a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. So he going to have them saints with him. That's why it's saviors. But they got to go. They can't catch Esau in Mount Seir because he's not there. They got to catch Esau in Mount Zion. Revelation 6 and 12. Go ahead.
And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together.
The sky rolling back. Go ahead.
And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Now he come with that wrath, but most people don't know that a great portion of his wrath is designed strictly to free Israel and take over the promised land. Most people don't know nothing about no wrath anyway. They think it's going to be a rapture to heaven. But now it's wrath to take over this world and specifically the promised land and bring Israel back from this slavery so we can possess it again. This is when Mount Esau going to be for stubble. But he said, and from the wrath of the Lamb, verse 17.
For the great day of the wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
It's a great day of his wrath, and only somebody righteous is going to be able to stand and overcome this. Now, one more place, Isaiah 34, because this was prophecy long before that was said in Revelation by Jesus. It was prophecy by the mouth of Isaiah. Isaiah 34. And Isaiah going to get a little more specific with the people who getting this wrath. Isaiah 34 and 4. We see it's the same time because the sky only going to roll back one time. And that lets you know, like I saw some recent, some brothers were saying, well, you know, what they saying is Mount Zion is not Mount Zion over there. You know, Mount Zion is this way and this is this. Look, it don't matter. The people in control of it, whatever it is. But I know, it didn't make no sense. But I know that Esau got control of it, and then the Gentiles going to take control of it for the last 3.5 years. And it said he going to try down Jerusalem for 42 months. So that's Mount Zion. So he knows something. So it's just, sometimes brothers just come up with stuff, it just make too much ado about nothing. He looked at a sign and said, pointed that way. He was over there. See, the sign said that way, and the other sign said that way. That's confusing. Look, you don't own nothing over there anyway. You can forget about it. You got to wait till the Lord comes. Isaiah 34, Carmelo know what I'm talking about. 34:4, go ahead.
And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine. And as a falling fig from the fig tree.
Okay, so now the sky rolling back, he's shaking everything. Don't mean the stars have to hit the earth. People say, well, the stars can't hit the earth because one star destroyed. Well, maybe so. But John saw and Isaiah saw it all shaking. He saw the whole sky being torn apart, basically. So you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's hitting what. You see everything ripping apart. But the Lord going to rip it apart, and then he going to fix it because we still going to use the same heavens after it's said and done. But go ahead.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment.
See, now we talking about Edom all the way to when the sky rolled back, brothers and sisters. This is how I know he got to be here. Like sister did a song, Where's Esau? Anybody seen Esau? Yeah, he here. He here. The sky rolling back, and he talking about Idumea, which is the Greek word for Edom. Jacob's twin brother, he's still dealing with him. Go ahead.
The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams.
So he's talking about people. Go ahead.
For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah.
Now, Bozrah, that's another name for Esau. That was his son's name. That's when we saw that in Obadiah. The Lord hath a great sacrifice in Bozrah. See, he called him by his name, but we know where he at. He's in Mount Zion now, because he done took it over. He blasphemed and said in his mind, I got all, and he really dogmatic about it. He dogmatic. He putting hurting on people who trying to act like that land don't belong. That's why I know when the brothers went back over there in the 60s and been over there since then, it ain't no sense in going over there trying to mess with him. I ain't going over there till the Lord will get ready to take him down, because he ain't going to let none of it go to the Lord take it from, because he dogmatic. That's why the people went over there. Hey, they was panhandling in the streets for years until they gave up and said, okay, we'll convert to what y'all call it, and we'll go along. Even though they know better, but that's the only way they're going to survive. It's just like all the brothers that then left here. It's been a number of brothers that then left here, went over there. Some brothers trying to get me to come. You need to come over here, man. I ain't coming over there. I ain't about to deal with Esau like that. He's talking about, well, because the only thing you got to do, brother, when you come, you just gotta go along and confess Judaism. You just got to go along with it. Look, I can't confess that. How I'm gonna confess to be converted to the converted? They the ones got converted. So, but that's what you have to do to get any peace. That's why they wouldn't let Ben-Ami, none of them. They wouldn't let them work. They wouldn't let them do nothing. They starved them out. That's why they even said, we saw that movie, they said the first 20 years, it was rough. Yeah, because you couldn't do nothing. He done put you in a corner and said, starve to death. They couldn't send them back to America because they denounced their American citizenship. They said, okay, well, stay over there and die.
Right.
They made them until they gave in. Now they gave in. They gave them citizenship. We look at that as a comment. I accept this citizenship more than that one over there right now. That's no accomplice. Because now when you get old enough, you got to fight in Edom's army. Got to. That's what they had a little controversy about. Ain't no choice about it. The young girl got in the movie. She got in the army. She said, well, they gave me a gun. I had never seen a gun before, but, I had to do what I had to do. They told me it wasn't nothing but some metal. Exactly. You ain't got no choice because you in Edom's area. So when he talk about Bozrah and Idumea, he talking about in our land where they running it at. He said the Lord got to have to sacrifice in Bozrah and what?
And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
See, and where is Idumea at? He in Mount Zion. But go ahead.
And the unicorn shall come down with them.
All the leaders going to fall, not just them. Go ahead.
and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness.
Go ahead. Why? What day is this?
For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance.
That's it. Revelation 6 all over again. Go ahead.
And the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion.
Oh, but it's go back to the land, the controversy of Zion. Why is Edom, Idumea, always involved around Zion? Because he done took it. He say it's his. I hope you got some understanding in Jesus' name.